Hello, so here is the correction for our second document, which will help us answer the question, to what extent are the Queens of England mythical figures? And you had a text to read and a painting and a family tree to take a look at. Now let's see what we can say about the painting. So we have a recap here. In this painting, Elizabeth I is presented on the day of her coronation. She has just become a queen and many symbols of monarchy can be seen. We have the crown, the scepter, ermine, and a lot of gold. Even her hair is golden. And the use of so many symbols give Elizabeth the image of a myth. She's not a real person, but a figure representing other things than what she really is. Okay, she represents power. Okay, we've got all the elements that we had seen in the paintings we studied in our first lesson. Now you had to take a look at her family tree. So this is her father, Henry VIII. Okay, and he married many times. Elizabeth I is here, so she was his second daughter. And thanks to the family tree, we can deduce the rules of succession to the throne. So in the 16th century, the first child to become king was the boy, even if he was younger than his sisters. Look, Edward VI became king even if he was the third sibling. Okay, the first sibling was Mary I, the second sibling was Elizabeth I, and the third one was Edward. And because he was a boy, he became king first. Nowadays, though, the rules have changed in Britain and women can become queens even if they have younger brothers. Now, you had to read a text and you had a series of questions. The first one was about the characters. So we have Lady Elizabeth. She's the young queen and she was only a princess at the time. Now, you had Lady Bryan, who was Elizabeth's nanny. She took care of Elizabeth. You had Queen Jane, who was the third wife of Henry VIII. And the prince is Edward VI. So he was Elizabeth's little brother. Okay, so he was king, but he died young. Question B. The scene takes place in 1537 as the young Edward is born. The king had always wanted a son to succeed him. Question C. Elizabeth asks if her little brother will become king. And you have Lady Bryan, and she explains that the little brother will indeed become king, and that Elizabeth can never be a queen. And so Elizabeth, she starts to wonder what would happen if her brother died, which is a very cruel thing to do. Okay, she's only a little girl, and she is thinking about her brother dying. And why is that? It's because she wants to become a queen herself. Sorry about that. Question D, Lady Bryan, she laughs because she says, and that's a quotation, "Women do not rule kingdoms." She thinks Elizabeth is being ridiculous to imagine she will become queen. And how wrong was she? Question E, in this work of fiction, Elizabeth I is portrayed as a strong girl with a huge desire to be a queen and to rule her country. She's even shown as a ruthless little girl, imagining her brother dying so she can become queen. And it's really important to remember this is a work of fiction, because in our chapter, we are working on symbols rather than reality. Now, the conclusion. It is important to remember that this is a work of fiction, and as such, it is not reality. However, it is useful to analyze how Elizabeth I is still perceived today. She's seen as a strong and powerful woman who was determined to become queen, and this text feeds the myth built around Elizabeth. Voilà, vous avez de quoi normalement écrire votre recap pour l'oral. Je vous souhaite bonne chance et à très bientôt. Bye bye!